welcome back to another quick tip with Chip, cooking in the Instant Pot style. Now today I'm going to be making my Hawaiian chicken tacos. Now this happens to be a Tuesday, but I will not call it Taco Tuesday. Just for infringement rights, I'm talking to you, LeBron James. I want to make sure that I don't have to owe anybody any money for saying it's Taco Tuesday. But nonetheless, happens to be a Tuesday, coincidence. Yeah, but we're making in our Hawaiian chicken tacos. Again, one of my favorites. I actually often make the Hawaiian chicken separately. Today, I would just kind of be happy to putting it into a taco. So what are the ingredients that we need? So first thing we need is the chicken. This is going to be a little over 5 pounds. We're going to want 1 can of sliced pineapple for the end. We're going to want 2 cans of crushed pineapple. Going to need a little bit of salt. Obviously, you need your Instant Pot. Going to need some cheese, probably about half this block or so will probably do, but we'll see as we go. Going to need some soft tacos. I just do happen to have these little taco holder stands. You don't have to have those, but I just happen to have them because I find them fun. And then for side items, I do like to serve this Hawaiian rolls, and I often like to add a little bit of rice inside of the taco as well, or on the side item. I often do prefer cheese rice, but I happen to have brown rice, so I'm going to be using that today. So first step is you need to cut up your chicken. Now I did have one of my patients, Ann, suggest to me that I kind of keep my fingers kind of pulled in a little bit. So I've been doing kind of this ever since, which is good. But I would suggest, again, just kind of slice this up horizontal style, vertical style, and just put it in the smallest kind of pieces you can possibly create, because it'll make it a lot easier on the end when you don't have to shred it up. So for right now, again, I'm just kind of cutting up and keep each of these breasts into, like I said, the littlest pieces I can at first here. Making sure to not cut myself, because it is good to make sure you don't get blood in the chicken. Alright, so I'm going to make this a little smaller. And I'm just going to add that into the pot. So of course I've been using that new little trick with my patient said to do their fingers in, because you don't want to cut your fingers off like I just said. Now if you accidentally happen to cut your finger, just make sure to not get blood into the food. Even though probably nobody would ever know if you did, especially after you cooked it. But I know I've never cut myself. And make sure you don't get it in the food when you do that. So we're going to repeat that for the rest of the chicken. Alright, now that you got all your chicken in your pot now, you're going to add 1 cup of your favorite barbecue sauce. Alright, and then 2 cups of water. One, you get one more. Now it's ready to start cooking. So before I put the lid on, I'm just going to kind of stir all that sauce and that chicken up. I want to make sure there's not a whole lot of chicken on the bottom of that, or sometimes it can burn. Also, if you don't add enough fluid or water, it'll burn too, so you don't want that. And you put your top on, screw your little knobby top on here too. I'm then going to set this for 15 minutes. So basically, if you're on your thing here, you just get it start, which says pressure cook, and set it for 15 minutes. If it's still a little bit frozen, which sometimes it can be, you might go up to 18 minutes, but 15 minutes if the chicken is defrosted. And I'm going to let it go. Now remember, this is the first time you've ever done this. That doesn't mean it's only going to take 15 minutes. It'll take you about 10 or so for it to heat up, depending on how much fluid you have in there and how cold your chicken is and things like that. Take you about, again, 10 something-ish plus minutes to heat up, and then another 15 for it to cook after that. So let's do it.
Let's do it.
Alright, once it's cooked and it's done, you do the quick release. I'm going to open this up. And for right now, it's going to look kind of all chopped up like ground beefy, so you just want to stir it around, get the fluid all within the meat there. Now, at this point, there's way too much fluid in here, so I'm going to have to take this out and drain some of this off, or it's going to be too watered down. Now, by the way, you could use, if you want, broth, chicken broth instead of water. I've tried it both ways. I have not noticed a big difference in taste, so when in doubt, choose the option that doesn't cost money. All right, so I'm just going to drain this extra fluid part out here. Now we're ready for the next ingredients. All right, so after I've now drained out most of the water out of here, I stirred up a little bit to chop up the chicken a little bit more so. And now I'm going to add to it the crushed pineapple. Now if this is too much water in here, you may drain this out too, but right now I've got relatively no water in there, so I'm just going to add 1 can, and I'm going to add another can. Now that's my willing assistant, Brad, helping me out here too. So I've got 2 cans of crushed pineapple. And then if you're the measuring type, which I used to be, I would now add 3 cups of the barbecue sauce, but I've kind of learned just to eyeball it a little bit, so I'm not going to actually measure this out. I'm just going to kind of add in what I think it needs. So obviously if you like more sauce, add more sauce. If you don't. Yeah, that's fine too. So I'm going to get what I think it needs in here. 2 cups, 3 cups. That's about right. So now this next part is kind of optional. I'd like to add a little bit of cheese into the mixture. We're going to have a little bit of separate cheese at the end for the tacos just to add in there, but I kind of like my meat to have a little bit of a cheesy flavor to it too. So I'm going to go ahead and start shredding up some cheese to add to it. So it's time to add the cheese. You can go ahead and start shredding some cheese in there. So at this point, you don't need too much. I'm just doing a little bit to kind of flavor out the chicken a little bit. My brain always kind of stops and says, you can never have too much cheese. But then now that I'm 48 years old, my stomach kind of fights me on that and says, what the heck are you thinking? You can have way too much cheese. There's a thing called too much lactose, and it fights me, and my stomach says, no more cheese. My brain says, you can never have too much cheese. My stomach says, you got to stop. So anyway, I'd say right now, you've got just a little bit in there. You can go ahead and stop. And now we're going to stir all this together. So at this point, I'm just stirring it all together. It's still on the warm setting. I'm just going to stir that all together. Now if I ever think there's still too much liquid in there for tacos, sometimes I might even drain this out a little bit too in the strainer, just to make it easier to put the tacos in. But I'm almost ready at this point. All right, the end is near. So now at this point, it's going to take just a little bit of salt. Add that in there, just a little bit of dash. I'm going to stir that up now. All right, now while I was finishing up that last part there, I also went ahead and made me some little bit of rice. Like I said, this time it was brown rice, it didn't have to be, and also shredded some cheese. I got my taco shells ready and also made me some Hawaiian rolls. So at this point now, it's just feeding it in there. So I'm going to take a little bit of rice. Let me go ahead and do that first. Take a little bit of rice, stick that in my taco. Again, you can decide how much you want. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and try to not get too much fluid. So go ahead and take as much meat as you think you can comfortably put into a taco. Kind of like so. Good. I'm going to add that little bit of cheese on top. And I'm also going to take just an extra little bit of sliced pineapple. This is mostly just for presentation in many ways. You can even, if you're thinking about presentation too, you can have a little bit of fun with that and just give it a little bit of garnishment, just to make it look kind of pretty. I've also made me some Hawaiian rolls again. I'll be sticking those over here on the sides. And I'll make a second one next to that too. And if I really wanted to have another special little touch here, just again for a little bit of color, I'll add just a little bit of extra sploosh on top of that. So that's it. That's the Hawaiian chicken tacos. And as they say in Hawaii, mai ai, mai kai. Truth is, I have no idea if that's how they say it in Hawaii. I just typed in Google for Hawaiian for good food, and that's what they said. So enjoy it, and we'll see if you like it. If you make it, let me know.